Hi everyone, excuse the breeze, but apparently according to the weather it's the best day to make the video. So I'm doing a kind of tutorial on making wreaths this time. Some of them, as you can see, are natural things, and I've been out foraging with my trusty secateurs and my protective gloves. Remember, if you're going to be foraging anything, I've been foraging in my own garden, so I have permission to do that. If you're out and in a park and you're just helping yourself to a few things, just remember not to take everything, because we've got animals and creatures that use all this as habitat and food, and also leave some for the next person. Now, there are a couple of different sorts of wreaths that we're making. When you see this video, it's going to be well past Halloween, so I'm not including Halloween, but these could all be adapted for lots of different events and celebrations throughout the year, so you could just add different colours, different decorations. First one is a wire wreath. Now these cost 73p in my local garden centre, but you can buy them from Hobbycraft, you can buy them online. Your own garden centre close to you will probably have them as well, if they've got a floristry department, which is what my garden centre has. Now, as you can imagine, it looks a bit boring at the moment, but if you imagine, if you will, if you stuck on a few, you've got a glue gun or patience and some Evo stick or contactless glue, you can stick these on and do a nice big surround. That'd be quite good, different angles. So again, pick these up when I go for my local walk, and that would look quite effective. What I also have, and I don't know if everybody else does, I buy big bags of fruit, and usually by the time I get to the end of the bag I've gone off wanting them, so I sometimes dry them. This, I'd have you believe, still smells of lemon, and what I did was I sliced the lemon when it was starting to go a little bit, and they go a little bit hard, and I left it on top of the radiator for a few months, I have to say. So luckily we've got a spare room, and we've got lots of them. Another lemon. I've got an orange, doesn't look much like an orange, but you could spray paint these or use ordinary paints or varnish them, and the colour comes up really well. And again, you could stick these on with a few pine cones, or if you go to one of those shops that sells herbs and spices loose, you get some cinnamon sticks, and I've tied these up with a little bit of red ribbon, and again you can attach them with the rest of your decoration. Another thing I had an idea of, which took me a lot longer than I anticipated, is using paper. Paper, you say? Doesn't look like much to me. Well, this is about an 8-inch square piece of paper, and what I did lots of times, and it drove me mad, is make a cone. Now if I'm watching what I'm doing, it's more difficult to do for some reason, so I'm going to look away, and there we go, we have a cone, and you can stick those on there. You do lots. Doesn't look much at the moment, I grant you, but in true Blue Peter style, here's one I did earlier. Actually, I did it yesterday, and it took me about 2 hours, but there we go. It's an indoor one, obviously, because it's made of paper, but you could spray it. And then I thought afterwards, well, people made rainbows. You could make a rainbow of all different colours. You could have it to match your decor if you've got any spare wallpaper, if you've had a feature wall. And that could hang anywhere really, as long as it could be indoors or covered if you've got a porch. So that took me about 2 hours yesterday, and an awful lot of because they kept falling off. That was one of those. What I'm also going to show you is a more of a traditional wreath. Now I don't know how much these things cost, but here's a tiny one that I made from clipping down some of my clematis, and it was still a little bit flexible, but it did split. So if you just snip off the bits that we don't want, the loose bits, she says, at an angle, just to tidy it up. And if you imagine, secure those. On a Christmas tree, you could spray them, gold, silver, leave them as they are, have a small little hanging decoration on there, put some wrapping ribbon on. You've got nice tiny little wreaths. We also make nice little gift tags. So that's something that you could do. This is some willow that I had soaking for a while. You can buy dried willow online, but you do have to soak it in the bath or a special tub to make it soft and pliable. It really makes your hands quite messy, and it does tend to stain because it has a lot of tannin in it. So I was trying to make a heart. I'm not sure I've been that successful. And then this one is one I made last year. I made quite a few of these, which is a lot more successful. But again, that's willow. You can go foraging for willow as long as it's quite bendy. It's probably the wrong time of year because the sap's going. But if you can do that in the summer and you can get some, and then once it's dried, you can keep them forever. This is a piece of blackthorn. It's what sloes grow on, and I've harvested that from my garden, as you can hear. Still quite whippy, still quite flexible, even in October, almost November. And I'll show you how you make your wreath. You start off with kind of a circle. Now it's a bit thick at one end, so you just bend it. I know that there's still some sap in there because it hasn't cracked, and it's still quite flexible. And we make a circle. You need to be careful of your face because if it whips back, you're going to know about it. Then you start to weave. In and out, and in and out. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, as you can see, I've got some ivy. It's got leaves on at the moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to weave with this, and then eventually the leaves will fall off, and it will just leave me the skeleton that I can then add at a later date absolutely anything I want. If I wanted to, I could hang it on my door right now. Here we go, there's a bit of ivy. We always start at a different place that we finished. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and again it's nice and flexible. And you just pull it through. And if you've got an hour or two in the peace and quiet of a garden or your balcony, see I've broken that, but that's okay. So we'll add it later. It's quite therapeutic to just sit and weave and weave. And it doesn't actually take that long. That's popped out, just pop it back in. There, doesn't look much. There we go, a bit that came off. Again, slightly different place. And we always go in the same direction, just makes it a bit neater. Then I've got another bit. Sometimes you know which way you're going to be bending because of the way the natural product bends as well. And here we go. And the bend. I say I'll leave this in my garage probably for a couple of days on a piece of newspaper so that the leaves, when they dry and die, will just fall off. And it will then just leave me with the skeleton of a nice wreath that I can add whatever I like to. What shall I use next? That's a bit too short. That one's not too bad. And again, pull it through, twist it, and then we go round again. And we go round, we go round. Oops, again, I've broken it, but that's perfectly fine. It's okay. It's a natural product. Now, what I will say is, that it doesn't take that long to make. Ivy can be a bit of a nuisance. No, that's still broken, so that's a little bit too dry. But these will last for years once you make them. And you can make them for birthdays, Halloween, Christmas, Easter, weddings. I know lots of people are having more natural weddings at the moment in outdoor places, and you can make these. If you wanted to, you can make them small enough with nice flowers inside them for hair decorations. Just make sure that any creepy crawlies have gone, because the last thing you want to find in your hair when you're going out shopping or whatever it is that you're doing, you've gone to a party and you wanted a nice new different sort of hair adornment, is to find a spider crawling all over you. So that wouldn't be so good. This one, as you can see, we've got lots and lots of bits. So again, using my secateurs. See, this one's got seeds on it as well. You just carefully snip the bits off so it's nice and long. Secure them again so that I don't catch my fingers. And we've got, wrap it around, and wrap it around, and wrap it around. If you've got lots of ivy that you absolutely detest in your garden, this is a really good way of getting rid of them, especially if you wanted to make lots for families and friends. Just little gifts. I've got a piece there I don't want. I'm going to use my secateurs and snip that one off and just snip that one off. Get these a bit more tidy. And there we go. That's our ivy wreath. You can weave in holly, you can weave in lots of other things. I'm a bit of a bargain hunter, so at the end of the Christmas holidays, when all the shops are getting rid of their stuff, I buy their bargains. Now, I was really pleased with these because it said £1. They were originally $3.99. And when I got to the tills, they were actually 50p each. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to use them as they are. I've been taking them off and just using the leaves. And again, you can put leaves on. And you can put your bit of cinnamon stick on there. And it just makes it a bit more interesting, or you can just leave them green. Baubles on. Hope you've enjoyed my brief wreath tutorial. Keep a lookout for my next tutorial. It's going to be maybe about making some Christmas decorations. We'll have to see what I can forage and what I can find, and we'll see what we can make next time. In the meantime, take care everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.